At 3:30 a.m., her body was discovered. But not everything was as it seemed. She was the face of an era, the most photographed woman on Earth. But beneath the diamonds, the dazzling smile, and the red carpets, Marilyn Monroe was tangled in something far more dangerous than fame. And on the night of August 4th, 1962, it caught up with her. The official story said it was a tragic accident, a Hollywood icon gone too soon. But whispers began almost immediately. Whispers of politics, power, secrets too big for one woman to carry. And maybe that's exactly why she was silenced. It began quietly. 7 p.m., Marilyn speaks with her housekeeper, Eunice Murray. Nothing unusual. By 10 p.m., her bedroom light is still on. Door locked. Silence. By 3:30 a.m., she's found unresponsive. Cold. Still. The headlines came fast. Hollywood tragedy. Monroe dead at 36. The cause? An accidental overdose. But the first responders weren't convinced. LAPD officer Jack Clemens was the first on the scene. He later said the whole thing felt staged. The housekeeper and Monroe's psychiatrist rehearsing their story before he even asked questions. And the body? Too clean, too prepared. The coroner's report noted an unusually high level of sedatives. But there was a problem. No pill residue in her stomach. No glass of water nearby. And no note. Not even a scribble. For a woman with so much to say, she left nothing behind? Or was it all taken away? Marilyn Monroe wasn't just a screen goddess. She was a guest at the White House. A lover to President John F. Kennedy and, allegedly, to his brother Robert, the U.S. Attorney General. She knew things, not just about Hollywood or relationships, but about geopolitics, nuclear threats, the CIA, even rumors of extraterrestrial briefings JFK may have shared with her during their private weekends. Marilyn reportedly kept a red leather diary. Inside were notes about confidential conversations, political plots, names. But after her death, that diary vanished. Never logged, never entered as evidence. It simply disappeared, as if it never existed. And Robert Kennedy? Officially, he was 400 miles away the night Marilyn died. But multiple witnesses placed him in Los Angeles. Some said he visited Monroe that very day. Others claimed he came back that night. Former LAPD detective Mike Rothmuller later revealed that Monroe was considered a potential threat to national stability. Not because she was dangerous, but because she was close to men who were. She had threatened to hold a press conference. She had hinted that she would reveal everything. And suddenly, she was gone. In the 1970s, CIA and FBI insiders began leaking bits of information. One such leak mentioned a covert program called Operation Mockingbird, a plan to manipulate American media for political aims. According to declassified documents, Monroe was flagged in internal CIA memos. They feared what she knew and what she might say. Think about that. The world's most famous woman, tagged by the CIA as a liability. In 1993, a long-lost audio tape surfaced. It was a late-night call from Peter Lawford, JFK's brother-in-law, made hours after Marilyn's death. In the tape, Lawford sounds intoxicated, panicked. He says, "She's gone. Bobby was there. They did it." No details, no clarification. The tape was hushed, suppressed by studio heads, never aired publicly. But it wasn't the only whisper. Private investigator Fred Otash claimed he had been hired to bug Monroe's home and recorded everything, including her final night. He never revealed what he heard, but in his final interview, he said this: "It was no accident. It was surgical." Following Marilyn's death, a chain reaction began. Her housekeeper, Eunice Murray, avoided interviews for decades. Her story changed more than once. She died under unexplained circumstances. Dr. Ralph Green's son, the psychiatrist who found her, refused to speak publicly. He left no notes on her mental state in the days leading up to her death. He died 4 years later suddenly. Peter Lawford spiraled into drug use and depression. Friends said he was tormented. He once confessed, "I knew things I wish I didn't." But this isn't just a story of who died. It's a story of who disappeared. The coroner's organ samples were lost. Brain tissue, destroyed. Phone records, wiped. When questioned, the medical examiner said some materials were accidentally discarded. Who discards evidence in the most high-profile death of the century? Unless they were told to. In 2016, a retired CIA operative gave a deathbed statement. He claimed Monroe was considered a liability of interest. Her proximity to the Kennedys, her outbursts, and her diary made her a risk. According to him, she wasn't meant to die. Not then. But things got out of control. Robert Kennedy allegedly gave a green light to neutralize the threat before she could speak to the press. The plan wasn't messy. It was clinical. A private doctor. A silent compound. No scene. No scandal. Just silence. And after, every trace of the operation scrubbed. Was it really a political hit? An accidental reaction gone too far? Or just the tragic end of a woman let down by the men who used her? We may never know. But consider this. No other Hollywood star has been the subject of so many declassified documents, erased records, and whispered government connections. No other woman has sat so close to power and then vanished so neatly from history's official record. They said she was unstable, emotional, fragile. But what if Marilyn Monroe was simply too informed, too connected, too powerful? She wasn't just Hollywood's golden girl. She was a wild card in the highest political game. And in that game, loose ends are never left untied. Marilyn Monroe may have died in that quiet Brentwood home. But behind the curtain, a much larger story was unfolding. A woman silenced, a diary missing, a government watching, and a legacy still clouded in conspiracy. This is Timeless Forge. Subscribe for more forbidden histories, buried truths, and the secrets they hoped you'd forget.